Chosen one. This is not chance, and this is not coincidence. You did not arrive here by scrolling or curiosity. You were drawn here by divine appointment, by perfect spiritual timing, by a summons in the unseen that your spirit recognized before your mind did. Chosen one. Heaven is speaking, and it is speaking directly to you in this moment. Listen carefully, not with your ears alone, but with the depth of your spirit. Chosen one, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural shift. What has been hidden from your eyes is now being activated in the realm you cannot see yet, but will soon feel. God is moving money, provision, favor, and resources from hidden places into your life, and it will not arrive slowly. It will come suddenly. Just as Scripture declares in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 3, treasures hidden in darkness are revealed by the hand of God, and they are released to those he has called by name. Anointed one, this is not about striving or proving. This is about alignment. The delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. It was preparation. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. Chosen one, let your heart become still. Let expectation rise. Let faith awaken. What follows is not information. It is activation. The atmosphere is shifting now, and what has been buried is about to rise. Chosen one. What was once lost is now being found, and what was hidden in the shadows is being called directly into your light. I need you to hear this slowly, because this is not poetic language. This is a spiritual reality unfolding around you. There were seasons when it felt like things slipped through your fingers, when opportunities disappeared without explanation, when money seemed to vanish the moment it arrived. But this moment right now is different. The wealth that once felt invisible is no longer distant or delayed. It is already in motion, already responding to divine instruction, already being redirected toward you. You do not need to understand how it will arrive, and you do not need to trace the source. This transfer is spiritual before it is physical, and that is why it cannot be blocked by logic, timing, or human systems. Chosen one. I have learned through my own journey that heaven always moves first in the unseen. There were times in my life when nothing changed on the surface, yet something deep inside told me to stay ready, to stay aligned, to not quit. I didn't know it then, but the movement had already begun. That is where you are now. What matters in this moment is not effort, hustle, or pressure. What matters is readiness, alignment, belief. This is not a trickle. This is not a slow recovery. This is overflow. This is divine acceleration. Some financial streams were blocked, not because you were unworthy, but because the timing was wrong. Some blessings were delayed because the foundation was still being formed. God was protecting you from receiving too early what could have crushed you. But now, chosen one, the foundation has been poured. The timing has been activated. Your capacity has expanded. I know what it feels like to carry dreams bigger than your current resources. I know what it feels like to pray with faith while checking a bank balance that doesn't agree with the promise. And I also know the moment when something shifts, when the struggle loses its grip without warning. That is what divine intervention looks like. The money you once fought for is now being assigned to locate you without struggle. Burdens that felt permanent are being lifted, not because you finally tried harder, but because heaven stepped in. This is the kind of shift that happens quietly, but manifests loudly. You may not feel the rumble before it happens. You may not hear the movement in the spirit, but you will see the result. God is transferring abundance from places you never thought to look. I've seen it come through unexpected conversations, through people who didn't even know they were part of the blessing, through doors that opened without effort. The world calls it luck, but you will recognize it for what it truly is. Divine orchestration, supernatural currency. Chosen one. There are things being approved right now that have your name attached to them. Payments, opportunities, contracts, provisions that were never visible to you before are already in process. This is not about waiting anymore. This is about watching, being alert, being present. Because when divine surprise arrives, it rarely announces itself ahead of time. It shows up suddenly, often when your attention is elsewhere. That is how God moves. Without consulting your fear, without explaining himself, you are being positioned as a receiver, not because of what you can produce, but because of what has already been prepared. You are not poor. You are positioned. You are not behind. You were hidden until the right moment, and that moment is now. Chosen one. When divine favor rests on your life, something profound begins to shift in the way money responds to you. You stop chasing it, and it starts recognizing you. This is not symbolism. This is spiritual law. Money becomes aware of alignment. It is drawn to calling, to anointing, to purpose. I have seen this in my own life and in the lives of those I've walked with. The moment I stopped operating from fear and survival, the moment I surrendered control and trusted divine timing, things started showing up without force. That is what is happening to you now. You are not poor. You are positioned. You were not forgotten. You were hidden, protected, preserved for this exact hour. Chosen one. This is a season of divine money movement, and it is not creeping into your life slowly. It is being poured in. I know there were moments when it felt like silence meant nothing was happening. I know how heavy those quiet seasons can feel when prayers seem unanswered and effort feels invisible. But hear this clearly: silence is not stagnation. It is sacred preparation. Lack was never meant to shame you. It was meant to stretch your capacity so the blessing would not overwhelm you when it arrived. Hunger sharpened your discernment. Waiting matured your character. Now the feast is being prepared before you. What was once stored in secrecy is now being drawn out. This is the moment where belief turns into evidence. And here is something powerful that many people don't talk about. When this money comes, it comes with peace. It does not steal your sleep. It does not bring anxiety. It does not come with fear of loss. Because this is not just cash. It is confirmation. It is heaven saying, I saw you when no one else did. I saw every quiet act of faith. Every seed you sowed when it didn't make sense. Every time you chose belief over bitterness. Nothing was wasted. Everything is returning, and it is returning quickly. Chosen one, there will be sudden yes moments that change everything. An approval, a call, a message, a number on a screen that shifts your breath. I remember the first time something like that happened to me. It felt unreal, almost too good to be trusted. But that is how divine supply feels when you've been trained in survival. The pace of your life is about to increase, not through pressure, but through supernatural provision. You will not need to chase connections. The right ones are already being drawn toward you. This is not just a good season. This is resurrection. You thought time had passed you by. You thought opportunities were lost forever. But God was only hiding what would have been stolen too early. Now it is being revealed, and it is coming back with more than you lost. You are not being reimbursed. You are being rewarded. You are the vessel. You are the landing place. Heaven has marked your life as ready. Everything that was locked is opening. Everything that was closed is swinging wide. This is not just financial. This is spiritual. A signature from heaven written into your story. Prepare space. Make room. Because what is coming will need it. I chosen one. The floodgates have been ordered to open, and they are responding to your name. What is happening now is not something your eyes can fully perceive yet, because it is accelerating in the spirit first. I have learned that when heaven moves like this, it ignores human interference. No system, no delay, no opposition can veto what has already been activated. This is not wealth that comes from exhaustion. It is wealth that arrives because the timing is right, because alignment has been completed, because the harvest has matured beneath the surface. There were seasons when nothing seemed to grow. I remember walking through days where effort produced no visible return, where progress felt buried under soil. But growth was happening underground. Roots were forming where no applause could reach. That is how divine harvest works. What was beneath the surface is now pressing upward. It will show itself through moments, messages, people, and payments that seem to come from nowhere. But you will know better. It is coming from God's secret storehouse. Chosen one, you have been in preparation mode longer than you realized. The lack was not punishment. The waiting was not rejection. The silence was not abandonment. It was positioning. You were being trained to trust without evidence, to obey without reassurance, to stay soft without becoming bitter. That kind of training is rare, and it qualifies you for rare provision. Now that your heart is aligned, your hands are being positioned to receive. This is the reward for trusting the unseen. The payout for walking by faith when sight offered nothing encouraging. Suddenly, the invisible becomes visible. Suddenly, the slow becomes sudden. And here is what matters most. You will not have to chase this. It is already in motion. It is spiritually tagged with your coordinates. Expect confirmations that do not make logical sense. Emails that shift direction. Messages that answer prayers you stopped explaining. Calls that arrive without warning. Chosen one. This is the season of untraceable wealth. Not because it is mysterious, but because it is sourced beyond natural systems alone. People may assume there was a reasonable explanation. Let them. The truth is, you are being funded by grace. You are being carried by favor. You are being lifted by invisible assistance that has been tracking your obedience for years. The help you could not find before is now chasing you. This is more than answered prayer. This is an announcement of identity. Heaven is saying, I trust you with more. Not because you asked louder, but because your character held steady in private. You did not collapse under waiting. You did not harden your heart. And now that endurance is attracting a reward heavier than ordinary means, do not be shocked when things change overnight. Suddenness is heaven's fingerprint. When God moves, preparation happens internally, so manifestation can arrive instantly. Everything hidden is being exposed, not to embarrass you, but to enrich you, to heal you, to restore what pressure tried to break. Chosen. One, breathe, remain open, and stay aligned, because what is unfolding now will rewrite your story, steady your spirit, and confirm that every silent season was necessary preparation for the abundance arriving with precision, peace, and undeniable divine authority over your life, beginning now today. Chosen one. This movement is not only touching your finances, it is reshaping your identity. You were never designed to live in survival mode, calculating every step from fear. You were always meant for divine surplus, for provision that arrives with peace, clarity, and purpose. I remember the moment I realized my struggle was no longer my teacher. It had trained me, refined me, and strengthened me, but it was not meant to stay. That realization changed how I received what God was sending. Chosen one. This transfer is not just for you, it is generational. You are the one chosen to interrupt the pattern, to rewrite the family story, to to demonstrate what happens when obedience outlasts adversity. Money is only one expression of the shift. Confidence is being restored. Dignity is being rebuilt. The emotional weight of never having enough is being replaced with the calm assurance of more than enough. There are angels assigned to this movement. That may sound unfamiliar, but I have learned that when outcomes change without explanation, there is activity behind the scenes. These messengers specialize in redirection. They move documents, arrange encounters, open accounts, and reroute financial flow without noise. This is why your awareness has sharpened. This is why your sleep has shifted. Your spirit senses the movement before your mind can name it. Chosen one. Soon the evidence will match the energy. You will see numbers you have never seen before. You will open messages that alter your income. You will receive calls that realign your direction. I have stood in that moment holding a phone in disbelief, realizing that heaven answered prayers I whispered years earlier. This is not coincidence. It is response. But hear this clearly. This is only the beginning. The flow that starts now does not stop with one deposit. This is a system of supernatural provision. Hidden places are not only being revealed, they are being unlocked permanently. You are stepping into a rhythm where provision feels normal, where peace replaces panic, where giving becomes joy instead of strain. Chosen one, you will stop comparing your journey to others. You will no longer wonder when it will be your turn. This is your turn. Your story is shifting from lack to legacy, from hidden to highlighted, from barely enough to abundant overflow. And it is happening now. You will not need to explain yourself. Evidence speaks louder than defense. The blessing will be visible, but it will arrive with humility. People who overlooked you will be stunned. Systems that excluded you will adjust. Rooms that once rejected you will request your presence. Do not shrink now. Expand your thinking. Plan for more. Dream with courage. The resources are not coming to impress you. They are coming to equip you. This is not about luxury. It is about legacy. The money is a tool, a confirmation, a fuel for purpose. And you were chosen to carry it wisely, calmly, faithfully, because heaven does not release weight without trust. And trust has already been proven through your endurance, obedience, and unwavering faith. This moment confirms that what you survived was not random, not wasted, and not forgotten, but used by God to prepare you for provision that arrives with authority, peace, purpose, stability, increase, stewardship, joy, and rest. Chosen one. What is unfolding now is not random favor, and it is not scattered blessing. This movement of wealth is precise, intentional, and purpose-driven. You are not just receiving funds, you are receiving strategy. I want you to understand this deeply because money without wisdom can overwhelm, but money paired with divine instruction establishes legacy. God is not simply releasing provision into your hands. He is expanding your capacity to manage it, multiply it, and steward it with clarity and peace. I have watched this happen in my own life. When provision finally came, what surprised me most was not the amount, but the calm that came with it. The panic lifted. The survival thinking loosened its grip. I no longer made decisions from fear, but from vision. That is the upgrade you are stepping into now. Your thinking is shifting. Your discernment is sharpening. You are no longer operating from scarcity, but from stewardship. I chosen one. Every coin that is coming to you carries intention. Nothing is wasted. Every financial opening is connected to something greater than personal comfort. You are being positioned to build, to establish, to bring ideas into form that once lived only in prayer and imagination. The money that once slipped through your hands now responds to divine order. It obeys spiritual law. It recognizes alignment. With this wealth comes wisdom, because God does not fund chaos. He funds vision. He funds purpose. He funds obedience. The provision arriving in your life now has roots. It is not flashy or unstable. It is grounded, sustainable, and designed to support long-term impact. This is wealth that launches ideas, restores foundations, and heals areas that were cracked by years of pressure and lack. Chosen one. You are not just being helped out. You are being raised up. This shift is not limited to finances. It is emotional. It is mental. It is spiritual. Layers of lack are being peeled away. Old stress responses are losing control. The constant tension of not having enough is dissolving, and in its place, strength is rising. Clarity is increasing. Peace is settling into places that were once restless. You will notice that doors begin opening without effort. Not because you asked louder, but because your name was already present before you arrived. The purity of your heart has been noticed. The consistency of your faith has been recorded. Even the prayers you stopped explaining to others were never ignored. This is why the release is happening with urgency. It is time. There may be moments when you look back at how close you came to giving up. Moments when you remember staring at numbers that did not agree with the promise. Those memories will not haunt you anymore. They will testify. The places that once represented lack will become proof of transformation. You will pass them with peace, not pain. Chosen one, do not limit the path this provision takes. Money may arrive through people who once overlooked you. It may flow through doors you never considered. God hides the source so you do not worship it. He protects the process so you do not interfere. And when it is complete, he reveals it suddenly. Stay open, stay ready, stay aligned. What is coming will not cost your peace. It will not confuse your identity. It will come clean, complete, and on time, marking the moment where preparation turns into provision and faith becomes visible reward. Chosen one. There is a holy confidence rising inside you now, and it is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are beginning to move differently because something inside you knows the supply is already in motion. I remember when that shift happened for me. My circumstances had not changed yet, but my fear lost its voice. That is how you know heaven has stepped in. Peace arrives before proof. Chosen one. This is the moment when waiting turns into witness. You will start receiving confirmations that feel almost casual, yet carry massive consequence. An email that seems ordinary. A conversation that feels unplanned. A door that opens without resistance. These are not coincidences. They are evidence. The unseen work is crossing into the visible, and it will happen faster than your mind can calculate. This movement will shock your past. You may reflect on seasons when you nearly quit, when exhaustion whispered that nothing was coming. I have stood in that place, asking God if endurance was worth it. Only later did I understand that perseverance was building capacity. What once felt like delay was strengthening your ability to carry what is arriving now without breaking under it. Chosen one. The places that once represented lack will become testimonies. You will revisit memories without attachment, pain without power. The lessons stayed, but the weight lifted. This is how restoration works. God does not erase the story, he redeems it. And that redemption becomes wisdom that guides how you steward what is coming. Expect unexpected routes. Money may arrive through people who once dismissed you. Help may come from directions you never considered. This is intentional. God hides the source, so trust remains anchored in him, not in systems. As scripture reminds us in Isaiah chapter 55, his ways are higher, and this provision will not follow familiar patterns. Chosen one, this wealth will not come with chaos. It will not steal your peace or distort your priorities. It will arrive clean ordered and purposeful. You will be able to say yes without fear, invest without regret, and give without hesitation. That freedom is part of the blessing. You are stepping into holy wealth, where provision supports calling and increase fuels purpose. This is not about excess for display. It is about sufficiency with impact. You were trusted with little, and you honored it. Now you are being trusted with more. Remain available, remain grounded. Do not rush ahead of alignment. What is coming is already timed, already assigned, already moving. Your role is not to force it, but to receive it with humility and confidence. Chosen one. This season confirms that God did not hide the money to deny you, but to preserve it until you could carry it with wisdom, peace, and authority, and that moment has arrived. Do not underestimate small confirmations, quiet shifts, or subtle openings, because heaven often whispers before it declares. Stay faithful in simple steps, daily obedience, and consistent gratitude. As you move forward, choose peace over pressure, trust over control, and surrender over striving. This posture keeps your spirit clear and your hands open. What is arriving will recognize this alignment and settle gently into your life without resistance, confusion, fear, delay, interference, doubt, insecurity, or disruption from past cycles and limitations. Chosen one. What is happening now is bigger than a financial shift. It is a realignment of authority in your life. You are no longer approaching provision as someone hoping to survive. You're stepping into it as someone entrusted to lead, to build, and to distribute. This is where many people misunderstand divine wealth. It is not about comfort alone. It is about responsibility matched with grace. And grace is what makes this possible for you. I remember the moment I realized that what God was releasing was not just for my needs, but for assignment. It changed how I held everything. I stopped asking, how much can I keep? And started asking, what is this meant to support? That shift protected the blessing. That is the same shift happening inside you now. Your spirit is maturing in real time. Chosen one. You are entering a season where money no longer controls your emotions. You will notice this first before anything shows up outwardly. The anxiety eases. The constant calculating quiets down. Decisions come with clarity instead of pressure. This is evidence of inner alignment. Heaven always stabilizes the inside before increasing the outside. That way, the blessing does not become a burden. There will be moments soon where you realize you are thinking differently. You will plan further ahead. You will speak with more confidence. You will say no to things that drain you and yes to things that expand you. These are not personality changes. They are signs of stewardship awakening. You are being upgraded for responsibility without stress. Chosen. One people will begin to sense this shift, even if they can't explain it. Your presence will carry calm authority. Your words will feel grounded. Your choices will seem intentional. Some will be drawn closer. Others may quietly distance themselves. Do not interpret this as loss. It is alignment. Not everyone can walk with you into a season where peace replaces panic and provision flows without desperation. You may notice opportunities coming that feel different than before. Less force, less chasing, more invitation, more clarity. I have learned that when something is divinely assigned, it arrives without confusion. It does not require you to betray your values or rush past your discernment. It comes clean. If something costs you your peace, it is not part of this movement. Chosen one. This is also a season where gratitude becomes powerful. Not performative gratitude, but grounded gratitude. Thankfulness keeps your heart soft and your hands open. It reminds you that the source is secure even when the channel shifts. Gratitude anchors you so the blessing does not drift you away from humility. There will be moments when you are tempted to rush ahead mentally to imagine everything at once. Slow your breath. Trust the pace. Divine timing is not hurried even when it is sudden. What is coming will unfold in layers, each one confirming the last. You do not need to force the next step. It will reveal itself. Chosen one. You are not behind schedule. You are exactly where preparation meets release. The endurance you built, the patience you learned, the faith you carried quietly, all of it has shaped you into someone who can receive without fear and steward without strain. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay aligned. The flow is active now, and it is steady. What you have entered is not fragile. It is established, and it will support not only your needs, but your purpose, your calling, and the lives you are meant to impact through obedience, generosity, wisdom, and calm leadership rooted in trust, not pressure. Chosen one. This is where everything comes together, not with noise, but with certainty. You are no longer wondering if God is moving. You are beginning to recognize how he moves. Quietly, precisely, without panic. The season you are stepping into now will not require constant explanation or defense. The evidence will speak for itself, and it will speak clearly. I want you to notice something important. The blessing arriving in your life is not fragile. It does not need to be protected by fear or controlled by overthinking. It is stable because it is sourced correctly. I have seen what happens when provision comes from striving, and I have seen what happens when it comes from alignment. One exhausts you, the other strengthens you. What is coming to you now will strengthen you. Chosen one. This is the moment when your story shifts from surviving to sustaining. You are no longer just being carried through hardship. You are being positioned to carry responsibility with peace. This is why the timing mattered so much. Had this arrived earlier, it would have overwhelmed you. But now it fits. Your spirit can hold it. Your mind can manage it. Your heart can steward it. You may notice that people around you begin to respond differently. Some will ask questions. Others will watch quietly. Do not feel the need to explain every detail. Divine provision does not require justification. It only requires integrity. Remain grounded. Remain generous in spirit. Remain discerning. These qualities protect what has been entrusted to you. Chosen one. This is also a season where you will see how God redeems time. Opportunities will align in ways that make past delays irrelevant. What once felt like lost years will suddenly feel like training. I remember looking back at seasons I thought were wasted only to realize they gave me exactly what I needed to navigate what came next. You will have that same realization. There will be moments when gratitude wells up unexpectedly. Not because everything is perfect, but because you can finally breathe. The pressure to figure everything out lifts. The urgency to prove yourself fades. You move with confidence instead of anxiety. This is the fruit of trust. This is the sign that provision has settled, not just arrived. Chosen. One, do not rush to label the blessing. Let it unfold. Some things reveal their purpose only after they are established. Stay teachable, stay humble, stay connected to the source. As it is written in Proverbs chapter 3, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. That trust keeps your path clear. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new chapter, one marked by stability. Chosen one. This is not chance, and this is not coincidence. You did not arrive here by scrolling or curiosity. You were drawn here by divine appointment, by perfect spiritual timing, by a summons in the unseen that your spirit recognized before your mind did. Chosen one. Heaven is speaking, and it is speaking directly to you in this moment. Listen carefully, not with your ears alone, but with the depth of your spirit. Chosen one, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural shift. What has been hidden from your eyes is now being activated in the realm you cannot see yet, but will soon feel. God is moving money, provision, favor, and resources from hidden places into your life, and it will not arrive slowly. It will come suddenly. Just as scripture declares in Isaiah chapter 45 verse 3, treasures hidden in darkness are revealed by the hand of God, and they are released to those he has called by name. Anointed one, this is not about striving or proving. This is about alignment. The delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. It was preparation. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. Chosen one, let your heart become still. Let expectation rise. Let faith awaken. What follows is not information. It is activation. The atmosphere is shifting now, and what has been buried is about to rise. Chosen one. What was once lost is now being found, and what was hidden in the shadows is being called directly into your light. I need you to hear this slowly, because this is not poetic language. This is a spiritual reality unfolding around you. There were seasons when it felt like things slipped through your fingers, when opportunities disappeared without explanation, when money seemed to vanish the moment it arrived. But this moment right now is different. The wealth that once felt invisible is no longer distant or delayed. It is already in motion, already responding to divine instruction, already being redirected toward you. You do not need to understand how it will arrive, and you do not need to trace the source. This transfer is spiritual before it is physical, and that is why it cannot be blocked by logic, timing, or human systems. Chosen one. I have learned through my own journey that heaven always moves first in the unseen. There were times in my life when nothing changed on the surface, yet something deep inside told me to stay ready, to stay aligned, to not quit. I didn't know it then, but the movement had already begun. That is where you are now. What matters in this moment is not effort, hustle, or pressure. What matters is readiness, alignment, belief. This is not a trickle. This is not a slow recovery. This is overflow. This is divine acceleration. Some financial streams were blocked, not because you were unworthy, but because the timing was wrong. Some blessings were delayed because the foundation was still being formed. God was protecting you from receiving too early what could have crushed you. But now, chosen one, the foundation has been poured. The timing has been activated. Your capacity has expanded. I know what it feels like to carry dreams bigger than your current resources. I know what it feels like to pray with faith while checking a bank balance that doesn't agree with the promise. And I also know the moment when something shifts, when the struggle loses its grip without warning. That is what divine intervention looks like. The money you once fought for is now being assigned to locate you without struggle. Burdens that felt permanent are being lifted, not because you finally tried harder, but because heaven stepped in. This is the kind of shift that happens quietly, but manifests loudly. You may not feel the rumble before it happens. You may not hear the movement in the spirit, but you will see the result. God is transferring abundance from places you never thought to look. I've seen it come through unexpected conversations, through people who didn't even know they were part of the blessing, through doors that opened without effort. The world calls it luck, but you will recognize it for what it truly is. Divine orchestration, supernatural currency. Chosen one. There are things being approved right now that have your name attached to them. Payments, opportunities, contracts, provisions that were never visible to you before are already in process. This is not about waiting anymore. This is about watching, being alert, being present. Because when divine surprise arrives, it rarely announces itself ahead of time.